I'm feeling so excited today. Like, actually, very excited. I'm doing another solo date thing, but there's that's been on my mind, and I don't know if it's because I saw my friend recently and she's gonna get married, and there's all these like lovey feelings in the air. I don't know. It's contagious, apparently. And apparently, I've never been on live television before. So I just feel so good. I feel so excited. I think it might have to do with like being open again, because I was not open to love. I was like, get that the fuck away from me. Get it away. Because I recently had my heart broken, shattered actually, and I didn't want to open myself up again. I wasn't ready, but I think now I am. And yeah, I guess I want to talk about some things that I've reflected on and learned about not only love, but what I've learned through grief and heartbreak that comes with love. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people get stuck. They're like stuck in this like blaming game, stuck in their ego, and they're missing so much of what they need to learn in relationships by doing that. And they're just letting it destroy them and like keep them in this like victimhood, then letting it be something of what it is just something beautiful. So I'm gonna go on a date with myself today. Again, I'm going to this like bar that someone had showed me. It's like a coffee place that also serves alcohol. So depending on my mood, I might either get a coffee or I might get a wine. We'll see. After that, I want to do, there's this place called Gemini Bar or Bar Gemini, and I kind of just want to sit there and have an appetizer and read my paper or work on whatever I want to work on and spend time with me. But before I leave the house, my nails are bare and I don't like how they look. So I'm thinking I'm gonna yap and paint my nails at the same time. So let's do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So I saw my friend, and she's living in Virginia right now, and she came to visit, and she's been my best friend since college. I love her. She's the smartest person that I know. Like, she inspired me so much in college. Like, being around the right people is so important. You don't even know. And yeah, and I guess I was just reflecting on like how, I guess maybe like a combination of like where I'm at in life, where I was, of having like a broken heart, and she's like here coming back into my life with like all this love inside of her, and she's just excited for her wedding, and it was so sweet to see them together. And it was, I don't know, it just like, I was like, aw, like I remember that, like I would like to feel that again. And I was like thinking about like all the shenanigans we would get to in college, and these horrible like boys that we would talk to, and we would just get our hearts broken over and over again. It is just so interesting to see like where we are in life now. Like, things are so different. And I was reflecting on how like back then I just didn't know how to find and see a lesson in heartbreak and relationships. My life is filled with chaotic relationships, and a lot of it I contributed to it because I didn't know how to have a healthy relationship. I have been both the avoidant and the anxious attached, for sure. I know exactly what it's like to feel both, like the avoidance of not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be perceived. The idea of being vulnerable was the scariest thing in the world for me. Like, I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than ever have to be vulnerable. That's how I truly felt. And for someone to like see me, I was like, absolutely not. And so I would push people away. Absolutely would push people away. And I was like, yep, nope. But then I've also have been the anxiously attached and severely anxiously attached, where like once that like we got through that like fear of vulnerability and like they've already seen me and I've had like my freakouts and they're still like, yeah, I still love you, like still love you. And then I clung on to that for dear life. Like I was like, you're not leaving me. This will never happen again. I don't want to risk being vulnerable again, and then having my heart broken and losing you, and I'm never gonna find this again. Like, I have been both for sure. But something that's happened is these recent heartbreaks that I've had, I learned to find the lesson that I was supposed to learn in them. And I'm like, I realize that I'm stepping into a secure attachment style now. And that is so exciting for me. Like, I feel free. I feel so good. This is the best thing in the world, honestly. Like, what? I could have felt this way this whole time. It's misery, honestly, being avoidant and anxiously attached. It's not fun. I don't like it. At least I didn't. Not at all. God, I'm not focused on painting my nails. We've barely got one coat. Yeah, I recently moved into securely attached style, which I feel very, very proud of myself for. But I realized what it is that I needed to do in order to get there. So I had 2 relationships that were very difficult. One was a long-term one, and the other one was a very short-term one. So with my long-term one, that was a very special relationship. And when I'm speaking about this, it's not about the other person. And I would never be disrespectful or give anything away in private information, because these are people that were part of my life, and they gave me an opportunity to learn and grow, and I experienced love with them. And I would never, it's just like, it's not like that. It's something that's, I want to be very, very respectful towards. When I'm speaking about this, I want to talk about me and what I learned, my experience. And the other person may have a different experience, but that doesn't really matter. This is about me. This is about me. So this 4-year relationship, oh my gosh, it was a beautiful relationship. However, I went through that cycle of like being avoidant and pushing them away, and then once we got to the level where it's like, okay, you've seen me, I cannot be without you now. Like, we are together and you're not gonna leave me. I don't know, I feel like if you've been anxious, like you kind of, like you would do anything to just like please the person and keep them in your life. And throughout this relationship, because I was so anxiously attached, I was so focused on the other person and them not leaving me that I wasn't even focused on me, ever, at any point. I was like, how do I feel in this relationship? I never really asked myself those questions. I was just like, I want this person in my life. What do I need to do to keep them in my life? And I don't think that was conscious. None of this is like strategic. It was all subconscious. It was the only way that I knew how to behave. That was all I knew. And that wasn't my fault. I wasn't trying to be a bad person. I truly loved them. So in doing that, I completely abandoned myself in this relationship. It was now a relationship where it was his world and I was just living in it. It was just like I just plopped myself into his world. He was into cars. Suddenly I kind of liked cars. He was into snakes. Sure, I like snakes. But everything that I had loved before him was gone. I used to love the gym. I used to love going to the gym and having a healthy eating routine. Like, I had a very strict schedule that was very centered around my health. And that was something that made me truly happy. I loved it. And I abandoned that completely. Like my eating habits, same as his. My workout routine, non-existent anymore. Structure in my life was gone. Like, I abandoned myself. And the thing that I realized I had to take accountability for was that I made that decision. That was my choice that I made. That wasn't him. Yeah, a lot of the relationship was like me like, well, you don't support me you don't show interest in my hobbies, like you're emotionally whatever. But if I'm saying that to him, that means I'm conscious that he's not giving me something that I'm saying that I want. So then that means that I'm making the choice to stay in a relationship and abandon myself for the sake of making it work. Yeah. That was a hard pill to swallow, for sure. For freaking sure. And this is a very long relationship, and I learned so much from it. There was so much good. There was so much good in this relationship, and I learned so much, and I experienced so much love. We went through so, like, I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. In fact, I think things happened the way they needed to. In order to really, like, stop this codependent cycle that I was experienced throughout my whole life, honestly, was that I needed to play it out, and I needed the whole time to play it out and realize that abandoning myself was never the answer to make a relationship work. That was never the answer. We were always both supposed to be two holes. Whole complete people. We were always supposed to be two whole complete people. And I'm sure he was codependent on me for some things. Like, when you meet someone, you're like equals. You're like energetically equals. Like, you're both serving something in the relationship that's making you two like attract. And especially like an anxious, avoidant, and codependent dynamic. Like, it's both. So a lot of it as well was me trying to get him to see that. Was like trying to be like, why can't you just see that, like, we need to work on this, like, we need to heal, we need to meet in the middle, we need to grow together. But like, also, that was also a choice. Me trying to force someone to grow when they so clearly didn't want to, at least from my perspective, and what I was looking for in a relationship. But I should have not even done that. I should have just accepted this person for who they are. And if that didn't work for me in terms of a relationship, I should have accepted that. I shouldn't have tried to change them, even if it comes from like good intentions, you know? I need to focus on my nails. I can't open this though. Okay, I got it open. So I had to realize all these things. Like, those were choices that I made. I abandoned myself. I tried to push something on someone that they clearly didn't want to do. And I caused us to fight a lot because we were both like, he was like, no, I was like, grow, and he was like, We grew apart, for sure. Yeah, the relationship ended. So after that relationship ended, I did spend a lot of time angry at them. I had to process a lot. I was just like trying to find my worth again from abandoning myself, like trying to find me again, the things that I liked, my independence, after being in a very, very codependent relationship, and also grieving it, because when you spend 4 years with someone, it's like, that was my best friend. That was my best friend for 4 years. And we went through so much together. And to lose that was very hard. And I needed time to grieve. But in that, I also like discovered my worth again. I was like, I am never gonna do that. I'm never gonna do that again, where I just let someone give me not what I want. Like, keep telling me they're gonna give me what I want and then never actually show up. Like, now I expect you to show up. You know, now I know what to look for. And maybe that's always what it was supposed to be. I was thinking of it from like a very like surface level emotional understanding. Like, okay, these were the things that I liked in this relationship. These are the things I didn't like. Now I know what to look for in the next relationship. Someone who's willing to grow and communicate and compromise with me. But I'm so grateful that it played out, because it showed me that I could survive. You know, when you're an anxious person, you're like, this idea of the person leaving you is so scary. You think that you will never survive it, or like these very like dramatic thoughts. You're just like, oh, but like I just love them so much. I'll never have a love like that again. At least that's how it was for me. It was like turmoil. It was very dramatic. It's okay. It's not my fault. It was just, those were my feelings. I don't know. It was just anxious. Yeah, and so after that ended, I got the chance to prove to myself that it wasn't the end of the world if I left this person. That I would survive it. That I would be okay. And I could find happiness outside of that relationship. I got a chance to prove that to myself. And that was so important for like my anxiousness in relationships. Like, I don't need to cling on. I will be okay. And I can give myself the things that that relationship was giving me all on my own. Like, this person was giving me safety and fun and adventure. And I could do that for myself. It was gonna be a learning curve, but I can do it and I can survive it. Like, building the confidence. It was so important that I went through that. And I have so much gratitude that this person came into my life and we played out this cycle, and that I got the opportunity to experience that love and those memories, and got a chance to realize that becoming vulnerable is not that scary, that someone could see me and all my flaws and still choose me, you know, and that things could end and we could outgrow each other and I could survive that. So that was so important for me to experience. And I will always have so much gratitude for that and respect for this person. They deserve the world. They really do. And then I thought I learned a huge lesson, and I was like confident, and I was like, I'm gonna go date again. And this one sucked. Not the person, but like this experience fucking sucked. I moved to grad school, and I met someone that I had a huge crush on. Like, I hadn't felt this level of crush since I was like in high school. Like, just seeing them, like, I would just get like, eek, they're so cool, they're so cute, like, they're so, ugh. Like, I just like, I don't know, I just hadn't experienced that in so long. And I was like, oh my God, I really like this person. I experienced so much like joy and like happiness, and like I found someone who was kind of like a friend. Like, we were so similar in my opinion. Like, intellectually we could keep up with each other, the banter, like who they were was so like mature and sweet and emotionally intelligent. Yeah, I just had a big old crush on them. But I think that's what made it so heartbreaking, because they actually ended up doing something extremely cruel to me. And I don't think they meant to, but it was extremely cruel and something that put me in a very mentally un-okay place. And it was very confusing for me. This thing that I had experienced was so confusing to me, because it was like a dream come true, and then suddenly I just went crashing down in an instant. It was very confusing. And what shook me was that, how did I not see it? Like, how did I not see it? And I was like thinking about what had happened. And it was this person who, like, I had such a big crush on, and like things were going so well. And then for them to do something so cruel to me. And I was really thinking to myself, I'm like, how did that happen? Then I had to get real with myself. I had to start asking myself the real questions, because as I was reflecting, all the signs were actually there. In that short amount of time, all the signs were there, and I ignored them. And I was doing it again. I was abandoning myself, my boundaries, what I wanted, simply because I wanted this person in my life. I made the decision to ignore those signs. And I ended up getting extremely hurt. And apart from the abandonment of like, okay, I ignored those signs. Great. But then I had to get deeper, because after that, I realized that I was blaming myself. I was like, it's my fault. It's my fault that they did that to me. It's my fault that things ended. It's all my fault. And that was confused. I was like, why do I feel consciously I knew that was wrong, but I felt it. And I just didn't understand why. I didn't get it. I was like, but I know that it's wrong. So why do I feel this way? And I had to start thinking about my parents. And I had to start thinking about their relationship. And I had to start thinking about things that were modeled to me, and the decisions that were made throughout my life growing up that showed me what my worth was and what I should be tolerating and how I should be understanding things. Like, if someone hurts me, it's my fault. I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have done that. It's my fault. And that's just not right. And I had to grieve that. I had to grieve what little me had to go through. That really sucked. And I didn't realize that it was like following me throughout my life and my relationships this way. I had to process these feelings and get into my subconscious in order to become conscious. I had to become aware of what was actually going on. Why was I abandoning myself? Why was I so okay with someone treating me this way? Well, the reality was that growing up, I was emotionally invalidated, and I learned that that's how I need to treat myself. I need to emotionally invalidate myself. And so that's why I was so okay with being in relationships with people who emotionally invalidated me. Hello? Like, hello? That's it. And it was like a light bulb moment. I was like, what? That's what happened? That's what's going on here? That's why when someone treats me like with no respect and neglects my emotions and doesn't emotionally protect me, that's why I'm so okay with it, and that's why it feels like home and it feels so cozy and like love. Fucked up. I'm not angry at this person. In fact, I feel so much gratitude that they gave me the opportunity to unpack that. They did acknowledge their wrong, and they separated us from each other. That was their choice. And that gave me the opportunity to realize I still had habits of abandoning myself. Luckily, I had already had that 4-year relationship, and I didn't go chasing, because I would have. And realized that, okay, this happened. I can't force them to take accountability. I can't force them to love me back. I can't force them to see things the way that I see them. I can't force them to communicate if they don't want to communicate. And I could finally accept it. And then in accepting that, when it had happened, that gave me an opportunity to dig even deeper into the wounds that I had. And I've discovered other things, but I want to keep it like light, as light as I can, because like this is very personal and I don't want to share everything. And I also want to do it in a slightly more general way so people can like understand how to do it in their life. Like find the lesson, learn the lesson, find the lesson, learn the lesson. And throughout the process, take accountability. Learn to be able to take accountability for your role. Yeah, the person might have invalidated you. The person might have done this and this and this. And that's wonderful to become conscious of it, of like what you now know what to look for in a new relationship. But also look at yourself. Where was I overgiving? Where was I abandoning myself? Where was I compromising where I should not have compromised? You know what I mean? That's also so important. And if you're like me and you're like driven by these like subconscious wounds, like get in there and figure out why. What happened? Those relationships, maybe a past version of me would have looked back at that and been like, I'm pissed. I hate relationships. I hate men. I don't feel that way. I feel so much gratitude. I feel gratitude that I got to experience all that love to and from people. And I got to grow and learn through it, through my heartache. I got to become a more confident, self-assured, self-aware, and conscious person. Not everyone does that. Not everyone gets there. That's something to be proud of. And to have the opportunity to shift into secure, that is so, I couldn't be more grateful. That has like set me free in so many ways. I see things a little bit more clearly now. I don't feel like it's my fault anymore. I'm not carrying any anger, blame, just acknowledgement of what it was. And gratitude for the love that was in my life. That's it. And now I have new information. So when I do go out and date, now I know what to look for. I don't want someone who doesn't know how to emotionally protect me because they're not even emotionally available towards themselves, like, you know? And I'm not prosecuting anyone for that because clearly I was emotionally avoidant towards myself. Duh. That's no one's fault. That sucks. But unless they're willing to be accountable for that and learn and grow, you know, what can you do? You just have to release them with love and that's it. Accept it for what it is. And then when you go out into the world, which I'm hoping to do soon, and I get to like think about what I want. I want someone to be able to be emotionally available and protect my emotions. And I want someone to not abandon me and be present when communication matters most. And I want someone with high conflict resolution. You know? Now I know. That's all it is. It doesn't need to be this ego game. This ego game of blaming each other. Just acceptance. I think about tendencies in the past of being anxious and avoidant. And the only way that I was able to not be avoidant anymore was to lean into my emotions and my vulnerability and to be seen and to take a risk. And if someone doesn't like me, that has to prove to myself that has nothing to do with my worth. Like, I could be the best, juiciest apple. I hate apples. I could be the tastiest peach. You know what I mean? And someone will not like that. And that's okay. Whatever. Someone else is gonna come around and look at you and be like, yep, I want that. I want it with all its issues. Isn't that great? And imagine, like, all the relationships that didn't work, like, you get to look back and you're like, gosh, like, the amount of love that I felt in those moments, imagine how good it's gonna feel when it's actually right. Don't get stuck, keep going. Accept it for what it is, acknowledge it for what it is. Make sure you're learning your lessons, take accountability for your role, and keep going. There's so much love out there, and as long as you're working on yourself and you're always putting your best foot forward, like, you know? But the avoidant part of me learned that there's actually nothing scary about being vulnerable at all. If someone doesn't like you, that has nothing to do with your worth. It shouldn't affect you like that. You should find your worth within yourself first. You were always meant to be whole and complete first. I already fucked up my nail. Darn it. Darn. It's okay. And the anxious side of me was, there was nothing to be afraid of. There was always, like, if this one didn't work, there was going to be more. And if this person left and you were very codependent and attached to the things that they were giving you, whether it was a safe space, whether it was validation, but like whatever it is, like, prove to yourself that you can give that to yourself, that you can be whole and complete all on your own. You don't need this person to fill in the spaces for you. You were always meant to be whole and complete on your own. You should be your greatest love first. You can't expect other people, that's too much of a burden to expect other people to complete you. Don't do that. You should be completing you. You are your greatest love. You are your biggest project. Do that. Just remember that. One thing that I always keep at the front of my mind when I make decisions in my life, whether that's love, career, anything, is I always think of me on my deathbed. Kind of grim, but not grim. I think of me like years later when I'm old and I've lived my life and I'm laying there and I'm like, I want to feel in that moment that I can look back at my life and be like, yep, I want to do that all over again. And I think that requires me to not hold hatred in my heart and to not move from my ego. I can't imagine still being like avoidant and pushing people away. And that version of me, like on her deathbed, would be like, why did I do that? Why did I push away people I loved? Why? Because I was in my ego? Because I wanted to win? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Or I think about the anxious me. If I had been stuck there, what would she think? She'd be like, why did you do that? Why did you abandon yourself? Why did you accept less than you deserved? Why? I don't want to feel either of those things. I want to feel like, yeah, let's do it all again. You know? That's something that I think more people should do. Don't operate from your ego. Love is not supposed to be that. Be grateful for it. There's so much gratitude to be found in it. And it was hard. Yeah, I experienced anger. Yeah, I experienced all of these other things. It was hard. This is like a whole 6-7 month process that I went through. But it was so worth it because now I'm able to maybe approach relationships from more secure attachment style. And that's going to be so beneficial for me, for the other person, for the quality of my life, hopefully for the kids that I have one day. Like, this is worth it. Totally. So, I learned a lot, and I'm really happy that I did. And I hope that more people start reshaping their idea of what love is and relationships are. Like, these weird convos online, I don't really get them. I really don't. But, yeah. I think my nails are basically done. I'm gonna do top coat, maybe do a little bit of makeup, and then go get some more coffee or maybe a glass of wine and read my paper. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna film it today. I just want to hang out with me, and I want to be present. So I think that's all I have to say. I don't know if that was too vulnerable. I might rewatch this and be like, yeah, I'm not fucking posting that. But I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, that's it.